So my perspective is passion is a overhyped word.
I realized when I joined York that they're actually very student-centric.
Once you get blessed and fortunate to reach a certain level where 99.9% don't able to reach. Now in this scenario when everything is changing so fast.
Like, what are you doing? What are you studying? And is this something that you want from life? Every week we encourage students to spend at least 1 hour in this place.
Is there a housing crisis?
In the UK, In the
Okay.
UK, we cannot deny that.
Start a quick shout out to today's sponsor, to our accommodation partner and provider, VITA Students, because this podcast is not about just gyan, just information, but real insights, real experiences, and real stories. And when you want to create stories and memories, because this is the best time of your life, when you're planning to go abroad and stay alone, it's very, very important where you stay, how you stay, with whom you stay. And that's where VITA Student comes in picture, wherein they are covered all across UK. They have covered all the top ranked universities in all the favorite and popular cities. Plus, they are very value for money. I always say that they are not cheap, they are not expensive, they are value for money. And the kind of offering they provide, whatever price they charge, it's absolutely worth it. In fact, for that matter, whenever I go to UK, I prefer to stay in VITA Student at least 1 or 2 nights. I know I'm not a student, but they allow, and credit to them. On that note, let's begin this episode and let's talk about York and University of York. Welcome back to yet another episode of the podcast called The Living Pod by Saurabh. I get another chance to talk to a guest, which is, I can say that she's a friend. I can say that she's an early supporter, and also she's one of the sweetest, warmest person around. And let's discover her, unlayer her, and let's get more deeper and know her story and about our university. Mahima, how are you doing?
Very
Welcome
well.
on the pod, and
Thank
it's
you.
all about you now.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, for inviting me. I am very, very excited to have this interaction and chat with you. And for your audience, just let me introduce myself. I'm Mahima Kapoor. I'm the regional advisor at the University of York, UK. I have been into international higher education sector for a little over a decade now. It's very interesting. I started my journey with mutual fund industry. So I started working with mutual funds for some time, and then one thing happened after another, and I realized that's something that I do not enjoy. So I decided to take a leap of faith.
And when
And-
was this?
12 years back,
So 2013. Okay.
around that time. So then I decided to move, and I started with British Council. That's
Oh.
how things
So
happened.
lots of British councillors have visited us, and I like. So other day Vivek was here, Vivek Mansurani.
Uh-huh.
So he's of course been a pioneer in with British
British
Council.
Council, yeah.
There are a couple of more people,
So,
so
yeah.
many, but back to your story.
No, absolutely. So that's what I was talking about, that with British Council, then one thing happened after another. I have I've been lucky or fortunate enough to work with Indian universities like OP Jindal, and then of
Oh.
course I have also worked with international universities now. And yeah, very excited about this chat.
How you maintain this happy, calm persona of yours in this storm of traveling? I mean, it's not as competitive and not as number driven as banking or mutual fund can be, but still
Oh,
number
yes.
driven, right?
Yeah.
Still there are targets, still there are events happening all across the year.
Okay, it is demanding for sure. You need to travel extensively. And like I said, I've been doing this for over 10 years now. So yes, but at the same time, you need to keep yourself as priority. You understand that you'll be able to do this well if you are feeling well about yourself, physically, mentally, in all different aspects. So it's very, very important. So little things like consciously choosing what you eat, and at the same time enjoying your work is equally important. That's very important for your mental health. And I would say I've been blessed to do something, because this job teaches you every day something new. Every day you meet so many different students, parents, the kind of research universities are holding nowadays. So every day there's something new, and which probably a jaw dropping for me. I sometimes meet students where I had no idea this course existed, and then you learn about it. Oh, why did I not study this? Why I was not aware about this? So definitely one is being passionate about your job. That helps. Enjoying your job, that's very, very important for your mental health, and that's when you are able to sustain for a long time. Otherwise, so much of travel can burn you out.
So my perspective is passion is a overhyped word, and you enjoy either where you are getting paid well, which also sustain for a while, because after that, if you don't have a time, where you spend, you are creating value.
Absolutely.
When you create value, your numbers, everything start happening. Then you get compensation and promotion a byproduct. Once that is happening, get appreciation. You get talked about, in a good way. And then you're like, oh, I'm good at it, and then you start enjoying it, and then it become your passion. At least that happened with me. What is your view on that?
I totally agree that you need to contribute. You need to add value. You need to be very sure about what are you promoting. So, for example, at York, what I love about York is actually when they say they're a university of public good, they mean it. To the the level of commitment that they have towards contributing towards the society or global engagement, or for that matter, I realized when I joined York that they're actually very student-centric. Student is the heart of everything. It's like they start thinking on those terms, like the whole thing starts from students and ends at students.
Give me some example.
Okay, for example, when they were giving me this tour, when I first went to York, and of course I was promoting a London-based university, so that was the whole setup was very different. This was Queen Mary University of London,
right.
And then I moved to York. So I realized, the whole perspective was very different. They're very quality conscious. They're not very, as aggressive or as number-driven, I would say. They were very sure that we would want, we were happy with quality students, but we want to serve them best. So that was very important. So when they were giving me campus tour, I remember going to this quiet place. So they said, oh, please don't talk very loudly. This is quiet place. So I wanted to understand what is quiet place, because concept was new for me. So every week we encourage students to spend at least 1 hour in this place to come and reflect on life. Like, what are you doing? What are you studying? And is this something that you want from life? Is this something that you're actually enjoying? Is it so they give you those, food for thought where you want, and they encourage you to go and spend that time with yourself rather than, being too busy partying or probably academically, or, there are a lot of other things that take over and you don't really reflect, and especially at that age. So, that thing that really
stuck with you.
It stayed with me. And the kind of student support that they offer, I thought that was really exceptional. And even simple things like mental health is so seriously taken. When I get example of stories from my students, when they share stories like, this was one of my students, this is very recent, I'm telling you. She was, during her exams, she was studying, and she decided to cook spaghetti, midnight, and the whole thing fell on her. And she was severely burned. And we're a collegiate university. So she called up at the reception. They rushed her to hospital, also informed her department. So they were responsible for informing her department that she would not be able to appear for her exams. They coordinated with the department to reschedule her exam. And they assigned a person, this mentor cooked for her for whole 1 week or 1.5 weeks to take her to doctor's visit, getting her bandage changed. So she was really looked after.
And these mentors are students, or these
are students. These are senior students. Yeah, senior students living in the same accommodation. So this is just a pastoral care I'm talking about.
Nice.
So those examples, what make you feel that, okay, you're supporting something which is really good. Then when those calls that you get from your students saying, oh, I've got a job. Or, those are aha moments of my job, I would say. For somebody like me, it's very important. If I'm not adding value to someone's life, if I'm not contributing in someone's life in some or the other way in society, then it doesn't give you that happiness.
That's what happened with mutual fund industry?
No.
No, but you're not adding value.
Yeah, I realized. I realized it was very cutthroat, and I wasn't.
So complete your thought, and then we'll go back to your story. Because you mentioned my mutual fund, you mentioned about UP Jindal, you mentioned about Queen Mary, where
absolutely.
I will always be indebted to you and Jasprit, to give us that early break and support. But your story.
No, but I was just sharing some of those examples which made me feel how I definitely, adding value in people's life, and the university that I'm supporting, which actually believes in public good. So the students are really, really taken care.
I believe, yes, research now with NEPs and Indian new age university are talking about
trying
research.
To work on
but
it, yes.
More than that, it's also very important for parents and students to think about, if you're getting an assignment and you are doing, use ChatGPT, you should be using it. If you're not using, like you have a calculator, you're using it, it's stupidity. But if you're not thinking, and if you're just cut, copying, paste, whether you're studying York, whether you're studying MIT, it's wastage. That's my view.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. See, ChatGPT is something, if I want to put my ideas or my thoughts into words, I might be
Right,
okay.
right.
But at
This is
least
a good starting point.
Exactly. It's probably, it'll help me articulate what I want to say, which in my opinion is fine.
Right.
But if I'm not at the first place, getting an idea, then there is definitely something that I need to do something about myself. So, I need to work on the ideas. I need to, if I'm using it to restructure my essay, it's fine. But then everybody knows now there are a lot of softwares where they can find out about plagiarism. So I think students are also being very, very careful about it. But then, yes, you need to think, the whole idea of getting into research is make you think.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing the basic of it, then you're just getting a degree. It's not going to lead you somewhere. Eventually, it's not the degree that gets you a job. It's your skill set. That gets you a job. So if you lack that, it's not going to take you a long way.
I was telling someone, or probably listening, been told by someone that it's not about what you know now. It's about what you know, what you don't know, and you able to question rather than answer. Now, the more you questioning, the more you're vying, because everything available. पहले गूगल में ढूंढना पड़ता था ना, and collaborate करना पड़ता था. Now though, if you put the right prompt,
you'll get the right
you
answers.
get everything literally on 2 clicks.
I agree.
You didn't do your masters.
No, I did it later. I did it later from IC5, but then I started working, and again, this was a mutual fund industry. You get paid well, and that was also my criteria.
Which
back
mutual
then.
fund?
Fidelity Mutual Funds. So, and they were new in India. They were looking for people, and they asked me to appear for my MFA exam. I cleared that.
Do you think being a female and being a good-looking female with a good personality give you an edge to get a job as a fresher?
I would say being presentable helps.
Okay. Thanks for giving me a better word. Okay.
Being presentable clearly helps. If you're able,
whether it's female, whether it's
irrespective.
If you are presentable, it helps.
If you're presentable, that definitely helps, especially in the kind of corporate world
right.
we're living in. So yes, I do feel being presentable help, and that kind of helped me in my first job. And there I did learn a lot. I did learn a lot about customer service. I learned about mutual funds. They made me appear for my MFA exam. They made me fly to Mumbai to appear for the MFA exam.
Why I feel you one of those who got 90 plus?
No, I wish that was the case.
Okay.
They made me travel to different cities. Because they were setting up offices. So I was traveling to different cities. It did give me that exposure,
meeting with many people,
different languages, people flying from the UK then, and we are working very closely with them. As a new beginner, as a fresher, it was a very good exposure for me, a very good start, I would say. But very soon I realized I'm not enjoying it. Though I was still learning there.
You worked there for a couple of years? I
worked there for about 3 years, 3.5 years.
Well, 13 till 16 kind of.
But I just realized it was all about, it was very cutthroat.
Lots of presentations, traveling, road shows.
Road shows से presentation थी, travel था. Travel बहुत फिर भी ठीक था, but then वो बहुत
now you're comparing travel with now.
it was actually equally
taxing?
because they were setting up offices back then. I was into customer service. So
I'm saying how much money they were putting. Of course, just kidding.
No. It was more than I can imagine.
Few hundred thousands.
Crores. Even back then it was in crores. But very soon that faded away. I realized I'm not enjoying it. Though it gave me a lot of things in terms of learning. Recession hit. Then I saw a lot of those things. We've had examples where people lost a lot of money. I spoke to some of those investors. Again, I'm not saying it was because of any particular company, but this is how the market scenario is. And that's when I just started losing my interest.
Right.
That's when I realized I don't want to do this. It still took me a couple of years to kind of figure out what I want to do.
Right.
And then British Council happened. And that's when I was very clear.
So I missed that. I guess I've got it wrong. So 2013, 2016, you were,
No, 2009 to 2013, 14, I was working there. Then I started working with OP Jindal. Then I was, for a year, 2 years, I was with British Council. Then OP Jindal happened for a very short while.
So that's where you did your masters in between.
That's when, exactly.
That one thing which you probably this can be a good career or this can be a good place for you.
I would say it happened to me. I didn't think of it. It's not something that I planned.
So it was a campus placement? No.
It wasn't a campus placement. I reached, I uploaded my CV on Naukri.com. They reached out to me. I thought British Council is a very, very good name. It's a prestigious name. Why not? I appeared for the interview. I cracked it. So it wasn't.
And what was the role?
I was into IELTS test center. So I was again traveling. I think वो लिखवा.
तो आपने business development बहुत किया है.
हाँ जी, आप
बहुत
ये
किया
कह सकते हैं
है।
कि again traveling to different cities, holding IELTS exams, coordinating with with Cambridge University to get that marked, and uploading the results. So that was something that I was doing.
Nice. When you travel, what is your mindset? Whether you work, especially when you're traveling to work.
Productivity. If it's productive, if I'm enjoying my
Define
meetings.
productivity.
Oh yes. So it depends if I'm enjoying my meetings. Like, I know there's something come out of it. If I'm meeting students who I know are going to join, if I'm actually meeting agents where I know the meetings have gone really, really well, and probably this is going to lead to more business. So productivity, if it's productive, then yes, you enjoy it. Yes, there's some travels where you feel like, okay, it didn't really go as planned or what I thought. But then that's part and parcel
Until
of
then
it.
you don't travel, you don't get to know.
Exactly. That's part and parcel of it. Then okay, I'm not supposed to invest a lot of energy or time in probably this. So yes, if it's productive travel, you enjoy. If it's not so productive sometimes, then that's when you feel that it's getting too much.
I mean, you have so many education fairs. Like, how you see them?
Again, if they are very good, busy fairs, then it's really
How
fun.
you define busy? I mean, there are lots of walk-ins, or there are
Quality walk-ins.
quality walk-ins.
Yeah. Busy is like, it's not like, where you
Yeah,
know the students.
So how you maintain this enthusiasm and plus that thing, yeah, you don't know. कि the student will, I mean, we get to know.
Absolutely.
But still there are some students like ये जा भी सकता है, नहीं भी आ सकता.
Sometimes you feel कि ये नहीं जाएगा. I've had those cases where you were very confident, I don't think this student will come. Or even he'll apply and they actually join you. Sometimes then you feel like, okay, probably my reading wasn't as accurate. But then some students, obviously, where you're very obvious that probably they're going to join for sure or not join.
क्या parameters है वो?
आपको बात करके पता चल जाता है. आपको बात करके उनका इंटरेस्ट लेवल, समटाइम्स पीपल कम वेरी वेल रिसर्च्ड, लाइक उन्होंने ऑलरेडी आपका कोर्स देखा हुआ है, दे नो अबाउट द यूनिवर्सिटी, दे नो व्हाट, सो दे रेडी sure about it, and they're being backed by the parents. That's very important for Indian students, because when the parents are very invested and they are equally participating in this discussion, then that this is a very serious student. But however, you also meet students where that okay, they are interested, but they still need to they have a long way to go. They still have a lot of plans in mind. Probably they're not sure if they want to study in India, they want to study in UK or US. They're not sure about the destination. They haven't discussed it with the family yet. The family is not involved. Then that they're at a stage where the possibility of them turning into an applicant or joining a university is probably low.
You need to optimize, you need to be productive, and you can't be rude to the student. At the same time, I mean, we know that you have only 3 hours in that fair.
Yes.
You need to talk, and you can see that there are some good
people waiting.
Waiting. How you navigate that?
Okay, you need to kind of tell them the information that they really need to know. But mostly ऐसे students के पास बहुत questions नहीं होते. They generally come with a question. Okay, tell me more about your university, or tell me क्या courses हैं. So obviously you can give them the brochure or the list of courses, and then you can ask them, do you have any specific questions? Mostly, like I said, इनके पास बहुत questions नहीं होते क्योंकि अभी वो खुद समझ रहे हैं.
कुछ ऐसे क्वेश्चन होते हैं, जो ऐसे होते हैं जिनमें क्वेश्चन बहुत है पर आपको पता ही नहीं, या फिर जाएगा, अब इस साल नहीं जाएगा. How you manage that?
इस साल नहीं भी जाएगा, that's absolutely okay as long as those questions are relevant. I genuinely believe in answering that. I feel कि अगर ठीक है, he's asking out of curiosity. One is where he's clueless. So there are two kind of people, where people are genuinely interested, asking out of curiosity, and they want to know about it. Then the people who are just clueless, and you can just read it from the face that they have no idea what is happening around, and they're there just because they've been asked to attend this, or probably they'll get sometimes attendance,
a free dinner, a free lunch,
a free lunch or a free dinner. So then in that case, obviously you'll have to cut short
so
your
conversations. Do you give
conversations.
the feedback to your agents?
Sometimes I do, when I feel that it is really, the day hasn't been productive at all. That's when we do have to kind of tell them that, you've come all the way, and the expectation was to meet some really good students. But sometimes because it's always going to be mixed. ऐसा नहीं होगा एकदम creamy
No one have
आएगा.
intention like this, because
exactly.
their reputation also has stake,
Exactly.
Right.
But sometimes you have to tell them that probably they need to market it to the right audience. So that's when you give them a feedback that, maybe next time you might want to work on the marketing
Very
side
interesting.
of it.
How did OP Jindal happen?
OP Jindal happened when I was working with British Council, and then
You worked there for like a couple of years?
About 2 years, so
3
not
years,
very long. And that's when...
In Delhi. The
Delhi,
CP1, right?
CP1, and that's when OP Jindal, I happened to meet someone where they said there is this opening, and why don't you apply for it? And that's when, like I said, one thing led to another. I applied to OP Jindal. I was part of their partnership office, like international office, helping them partner with foreign universities. And that's when my first stint with foreign universities started. Queen Mary was one of their partner back then. So I was helping them partner, and that's when I got exposed. And that's what I first understood, that, okay, universities have offices here, or the representatives here. And yeah, that's, like I said, one thing led to another. And then Queen Mary happened.
So 2015.
Yeah, 2015, yeah.
That's where university started.
Yes.
And 2015 to 2016 is very, very close to me, So when you were in OP Jindal and you connected with Queen Mary, right? So, I mean, as a founder, I will see that if one of my team member have connected with one of my partner, and then you end up working
Joining
with that
them,
partner, how did your university and your management see at OP Jindal?
I wasn't poached. It wasn't something that they poached me, right? So this was an opening that I saw online, and then I applied for it, because usse pehle mujhe pata nahi tha aisi koi openings aati hain, or where to even look for it, right? So this is how it happened. So it wasn't something that they reached out, now that you're working. So it wasn't the case. And I would say I'm blessed to work with some of the best people. The whole transition was so smooth. The team at OP Jindal was very, very supportive. Even when I was during my notice period, Queen Mary visited there, as a partner, and I was hosting them, because I was working with OP Jindal, and I think it was all very graceful.
It was also because OP Jindal needed Queen Mary.
Queen Mary,
So they have to act and behave in such a way. Sorry, ma'am.
No, but then they were also happy about the fact that I'm joining them, because that's a partnership, because they already have a partnership going, and if it's one of their people going,
and also the manager leader you're reporting to.
Yes, yeah.
More than university, it's about that one manager who
absolutely. So because the university is huge, so I would say I was reporting to Mr. Shah there, and he was very, very, very kind, very supportive in the whole thing, and he did encourage me, when I told him, I have this offer, and this is what this will lead to, and I think he did give me a fair I would say judgment, or because I was discussing with him, and we had that relationship, and he's like, yeah, why not go ahead?
Very nice.
If you do not work with the right intention, be it with your team, be it with your, the company that you're working with, or the university, it'll come across very, people will know.
You can't
escape it.
Yeah.
You can't escape it.
Yeah.
So that's what I strongly feel. And this is not just limited to our industry. And generally, I've seen people are becoming more, where they want to collaborate, network out, and support each other rather than pulling down each other. There has been a slight shift there.
Right.
And which is just a very happy shift, I would say.
Absolutely, totally. And especially in the industry, because
absolutely.
I mean, I've faced it, right? When I used to go to universities or to education partners, who were like, right from day one when I started, I was very clear that we are good to have, not must to have, till it becomes to housing crisis and whatnot, And due to which we are always like, just keep going there, telling them housing, just be there, talk about them. And then, of course, it also takes 10 years to 15 years to become more relevant, And most of the people don't stay for 10 years. It's not easy, which just happened to, people support it. But in this industry, if you collaborate, there are 18 touch points which can be monetized. And no one can do everything alone. And if they want to do everything alone, there are few players who want to do everything alone. And they feel that they raise lots of funds and they do everything, right? But as for me, I might be wrong. There's so much to be done. In fact, every time I meet you or one of the peer group, I'm like, acha, I didn't know about this collegiate concept, right? Then, I don't know, okay, you need to be a referee to, help your team member to apply.
For foreign university,
so much to learn, and it's so layered. So Queen Mary happened, and then you moved to York.
Within Acumen.
Tell me more about Acumen. What is Acumen?
So Acumen is basically, it's a solution provider for market entry. So for a lot of foreign universities who are looking to enter in South Asia market, or now they've started offices in Southeast Asia as well, in other countries as well. So if you need a market entry in certain countries, Acumen can help you market yourself in these. So basically, I'm working with Acumen and I'm supporting their client, University of York. So University of York doesn't have their own office in India. It's basically, it's going through, like, they're working with Acumen, which is a service provider, and I have been supporting their client. So this is how it is structured.
They are universities which are standalone. Yes. They are universities who are going through market entries. And Acumen, One Step Global. These are
providers,
they're a good one. Universities, Career Mojak View. What is the advantage of going through a market entry? and representing, and what are the disadvantages of being one?
Okay, I would say advantages because you as a client, if I talk about mainly from the client perspective, I feel I get a lot of support in terms of recruitment. Like for example, we're recruiting a team member, so it's mostly the admin work, HR work, basic support that I need. So right from managing the budgets, helping me manage the budgets, or for that matter, the managing the office staff, their insurances, all the compliances, all those things are
All the back end being taken
exactly.
care.
It's all
You
taken
can
care.
focus more on your core, which is recruitment and
Huh?
branding, positioning.
Exactly. You need to focus. So you need to focus on those things. So everything, all compliances, basic logistics, admin support, all that is taken
What are
care.
disadvantage?
I would say disadvantages again. Because a lot of providers, for example, I know people who are working and they're supporting different universities. So you can expand in different, so you can, it's obviously from the business perspective that you work, and you can actually establish yourself in a very different, field.
But why then few universities are going after standalone offices? What are the advantages of that? And this is really out of curiosity, not trying to.
Like I said, I'm not too sure because I've not worked on the other side, but I can say it's also because obviously there's a consultancy fee that you need to pay, that you save on that. So it could be.
Is it right to assume a university which is probably looking to go more deeper?
Coming with a long-term view.
More long-term view.
Absolutely. They want to make investment. They're coming with a long-term view. They know they want to stay here, and they're also saving on the consultancy fee. They're establishing their entity here. So, of course, that's a very, very long term. You have to have a vision to kind of do that. Universities who may not have the bandwidth or are still at the level where they haven't taken that decision, this is how we want to structure ourselves or place ourselves in this particular country. That's generally take.
With University of York now, with the latest announcement, and congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Is this not long term?
Absolutely.
Or is university now start looking for standalone?
Now strategically they've started looking at the long term investment and placement in India. So that's a fantastic step that they've taken towards globalization or towards accessibility, making education accessible at your home country. So that's why they've announced the campus in Mumbai. So that's definitely a long term view, I would say. And how this will make changes, we are yet to see. But a lot of changes would probably come in the structure.
It's announced in Mumbai.
It's announced in Mumbai, yes. We're coming up with the campus in Mumbai.
Nice. Any question you want to ask? Probably I take a break and think.
Let's talk about your spiritual journey. That's very personal.
Okay, it seems. Okay, guys, now I'm the guest. See, I'm very comfortable with talking about spiritual journey. Once you get blessed and fortunate to reach a certain level, where 99.9% don't able to reach, so you need to be lucky. You need to be chosen one. Once you are lucky and chosen one, how can you let it go? All those struggling days initially, if I would have not been practicing or chanting, or probably I didn't have my mentors and leaders, probably I would have not sustained. Now in this scenario, when everything is changing so fast, you're just not competing with your peer group in a good way, but also with established destinations like US, Australia, Ireland, and the new one coming in from Europe, Dubai, Singapore now, right? So how you see future of higher education in next 18 months, 5 years, 10 years?
Okay, that's a very interesting question because a lot can change in next 18 months, especially the policies. We've just read about the new white paper. So a lot of these destinations, including UK, because if there's a change in policy that directly impact international students coming to that particular country. So that has a direct impact. So I'm still hoping for the next 18 months it'll go well, and students will continue to come. But now I think in the longer run, I feel a lot is going to change in the space because, for example, York has announced their campus in India. I'm sure there's so many other universities, international universities, are planning to open campuses in India. So I think,
is it to diversify the risk?
I think to diversify the risk.
More accessibility.
Exactly. Accessibility, I would say. Accessibility where it's coming to your doorstep. You're studying in top 100 or 200 universities in the world in your home country, because not everybody can afford to send their wards abroad, or for that matter may not be comfortable also. Even it's not just about affordability. You may not be okay to send your 17, 18-year-old kids so far off. So accessibility is going to be the next big thing I feel in the next 5 years, where a lot of students in different countries, including India, will get an opportunity to study in top 100, 200 universities in the world
in their
in their
country.
home country.
Yeah. And also in a way, it's, if you see, if we go back to international and globalization education, and also the fact that it's a journey, right? Earlier everyone used to go to US, then UK became famous, then
Famous,
Australia
yeah.
became
Australia,
a
absolutely.
destination, then Ireland, up the rank, right? While this is happening, similarly Singapore started reckoning out, and then Europe
Yeah,
countries coming out,
absolutely.
and because the theme is, the biggest theme is mobility. If you go back to 1,000, 2,000 years back, there will always be mobility.
Absolutely.
People used to stay around river because that's where the food and that's where the livelihood started. So coming back to future education, so there will be always new hubs coming in. So there
Absolutely.
were time when it was China. China is trying to be their study
Yeah.
hub.
Hub.
India is trying to be study in India hub. Now KL is coming well.
Absolutely.
What we have seen in Singapore, Dubai. I personally believe that Dubai will be like Ireland and then will be Singapore eventually.
I mean, clearly Dubai is growing. Clearly, we don't know the popularity of as a study destination is growing. A lot of universities have
The
campuses
yeah.
there.
York didn't explore that?
I don't think they're planning to, in my understanding. Of course, India was always in the main running when
India is a bigger
exactly,
country and they have low.
so they were very clear about having a campus in India and that too in a tier 1 city. But yeah, there are a lot of universities who have campuses already have campuses in Dubai, and clearly Dubai is growing as a destination, as a study destination. But it's interesting, when we say these universities are coming to your doorstep, but also these universities will give you probably, an exposure to international, you probably go for a semester or go for a year, so then you are getting a mix of both. You're studying in your home country, but you're also getting exposed to international education, going and studying in that country probably semester or 1 year. So and you're getting a degree, which kind of gives you. And I'm really, I see that in the coming years, a lot of international students will come to India.
We all talk student experience and student first. And I'm repeating myself. So I was in one of these panel in London. We were talking about student first. And I'm like, it's embarrassing that we are talking about student first. Because students are the one, because of us, we are getting paid and we are growing. And we're still having a panel of having approach of student first. It should be given. Everyone talks about student first, but not everyone is thinking about student first.
See,
do you agree?
To an extent, yes.
Right.
It was a very sad thing at one point of my time when I was thinking that, you can't make student a commodity. That's the last thing you would want to do, especially coming with an education fraternity, where you treat student as commodity. Which
आप बच्चा बोलते हो? बोलते हैं हम सारे.
हाँ, बोलते हैं. हाँ.
मुझे बड़ा मैं भी बोलने लगा अब. मुझे वर्ड बहुत बुरा लगता है बच्चा. अरे बच्चा क्या है? स्टूडेंट उसका नाम बोलो.
Exactly.
हम लोग बच्चे 500 बच्चे
आ गए. हाँ. Absolutely right. If you're having a discussion student centric, this should come by default. ये तो by default ही है. इस पे तो discussion होने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. But हाँ, अगर हम कर रहे हैं तो that means somewhere we have gone wrong. We are trying to make it correct now.
Absolutely. What's your view on housing? Is housing crisis? And let's talk about York first, and then let's talk about UK. Is there a housing crisis?
Yes, certainly there are housing crisis in the UK.
Crisis.
In the UK, हाँ, in the UK, we cannot deny that. We cannot deny that कि नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. Yes, UK. I think formally they did announce at some point of time that they were going through housing crisis.
I have a view on this, but I would like to hear you. Then I'll add.
हाँ नहीं है. ऐसा कोई it's not a cakewalk for especially for the audience. If you think कि मैं वहाँ जाऊँगा, I know India में हमें इतना struggle नहीं होता. Like you find PGs and accommodation comparatively easily, and then we probably assume my first priority to get admission, and then probably think about funding or apply for my bank loan. You're absolutely right. Generally, what I realize with Indian students, they keep accommodation for the last, at the end of it. We do get every year a lot of those students last minute तक जिन्होंने accommodation के बारे में शायद सोचा ही नहीं है अब तक. अब accommodation उनके लिए problem क्या हो जाता है? Either they'll pick a very expensive accommodation or like you said, a very shady one. Or probably it'll be very far off from the campus and they'll have to kind of travel a lot to come to the campus. So the whole experience gets it goes for
distorted,
a toss. Yeah. Exactly. So you will not have the same experience what you will have probably if you choose your accommodation timely. And as Indians, we are all, we all keep all these things last minute. Assignments last minute देंगे, accommodation last minute apply करेंगे.
Lots of education partners or universities are not talking about housing till time. They are like, visa आने दे फिर बात करेंगे.
I think हाँ मैं अपना भी कह सकती हूँ, but मैं अपने लिए इसलिए कहूँगी because University of York have their own accommodation, so we generally kind of tell them कि please apply कर लो, but then we realize that yes, you're right कि to some extent you can say कि we also haven't really make so much noise about accommodation, and we don't. In personal capacity, when you talk one-to-one, yes, we do tell them, okay, please try and
It's
book
not a
accommodation.
pressing, it's not a
but it's not a
pressing,
pressing
yeah.
issue. आपको लगता है कि अरे पहले scholarship आ जाए या like पहले आपका bank loan हो जाए, and then you'll think about it. So yes, but then more with like you said, we are all evolving and things are evolving and things are changing. I think it is becoming more serious concern. And now people are looking at Indian parents are looking at very seriously where my kids are staying now, how far it is from campus. कितने माइल्स है, कितनी देर की बस है, वहाँ से बस आती भी है डायरेक्टली या नहीं, और how will they commute, whether it's a walking distance and things like that. So parents are taking it very seriously now. You know, one of the challenges, I would say, you know, that's a breath of fresh air working with university living, that you can cater all categories, all wants that the students have, because mostly there are a lot of accommodation providers who provide very premium accommodation and not
or limited
everybody-
options,
limited
yeah.
options, and the affordability is a concern. We come from a country which is price
Value for
sensitive.
money.
Absolutely, we're very price sensitive. We want like value for money. ROI is very very important. Be it education, be it accommodation. So and some students like short term accommodation chahiye, which option was not there.
Not
Like
there.
I remember some time back like people reaching out and we did not have those options. So but now giving that options to students is something at least they can start thinking early. कि अभी मुझे I don't have to make that commitment like for a very long term, so I can मैं अपने 2 महीने के लिए 3 महीने के लिए, and then I'll probably see if this is what I want to continue with. So you're giving them that options. That is definitely adding to the fact that people are becoming more aware about it. So you have played a role in spreading that awareness, be it on university's website or and I'm sure a lot of universities are also playing a very key role in this, in making them aware that please book timely. Very 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 important.
No, thank you, Emphasis. And on that note, let me vouch out from our one of our sponsor, VITA Student Living. They are in York also.
Yeah.
They are in almost 12 to 15 cities in UK and in Spain. Not everyone will fit in University of York.
Yes.
Not everyone will fit in VITA Student Living. But at least explore. If you feel that you can't study in York in the group, probably that's a wrong mindset. Don't be stupid like me. कहाँ जाना है, यहाँ जाना, चले जाओ. वहाँ जाके देख लेना. Please don't do it. Let's talk about employability. What is York doing for employability? Again, is employability again a buzzword? वो 2 करोड़ खर्च कर रहे हो, उन्हें कह रहे हैं आपको जॉब नहीं हम बताएंगे, हम आपको करियर बना देंगे. And still people are going. Versus in India, you're very clear. Nothing wrong, right? What's your view on this?
Okay, so International Institute kind of talk about themselves कि we are an education institute, हम placement agency नहीं है. वो लोग बहुत ही clear करके चलते हैं. We are making you capable to find a job for yourself, and we are not here to kind of help you like lay a red carpet for you. Having said that, अगर हम इसे compare कर रहे हैं like before there was like now we know of course there's GIR, graduate immigration route. Now if I'm comparing it with when there was no graduate immigration route, I think that was very not fair, like where 3 months you were given 3 to 4 months to find a job for yourself and or come back to India. उसमें आपको इंडिया में भी अगर आप जॉब ढूंढते हैं ना, you need 6 months probation period. कोई आपको ऐसे sponsor, expecting somebody to sponsor you in 3-4 months was a lot to kind of that was a situation where majority of the students used to come back. But cut to now where you do have 2 years stay back right now.
18 months?
18 months coming down. It may come down to 18 months. It's still a
It's
white
not-
paper. Yeah,
okay,
it's a white
it's
paper yet.
proposed.
Yeah, it's proposed. But हाँ, अगर हम 18 months भी लेके चलें, तभी आपके पास at least you have enough time to find a job for yourself. If
right.
you and universities is it would not be fair to say कि बिल्कुल कुछ नहीं करती. They do help you network out a lot, and networking is the key skill that you would need in the next in coming years, because like I gave your example, like you build your whole network like and that's how your business has grown. And that's what they teach you, networks. Like for example at York we organize a lot of career fairs where we have more than 450 partners. Those partners, the HR of the companies will come to our campus. The idea is you understand what openings do they have globally, like what or how strong is your profile, what more you can do to build your profile. Our career person can help you build your profile. They'll guide you in the process. They'll help you apply. We have portals where these openings are available, where you can apply for these openings globally. We run programs like I'm sure the other universities also do that, like York Strength program, where we help you identify what are your strengths. We try and build your CV based on your strengths, and we identify the kind of openings where you will be actually an asset. You will actually enjoy those kind of jobs. So it's more like matchmaking. So they provide you that support. But yes, if you talk about red carpet, yes, that is not happening. If I compare what was the placement rate then for international student, what it is now, it has definitely grown. I know a lot of our students at York who have got placement, but a lot of initiative to be taken by the student.
Totally agree.
So if you expecting it, like in India we tend to do a lot
Spoon
of spoon
feed will
feeding.
not
हाँ,
happen.
वो नहीं
It should
होगा.
not happen also.
हाँ, वो नहीं होगा, because in the longer run it's not going to help you. The idea is not to get you a job but to make you capable to build your career, and that's what universities claim in the international space that they're doing. And to some extent I agree. मैं ये हाँ आप कह सकते हैं कि
It
like
can be improved, or it can be worked more.
they need to, they're trying to now focus a lot because they also realize that employability is very, very important.
Yeah, it has to be outcome driven investment and education. Otherwise, it will not sustain.
Absolutely. So in the longer run, उनको भी पता है ऐसे नहीं, like that this is becoming very, very crucial, especially for international students. So they definitely, I can say UK for sure is trying to work on that. In fact, a lot of UK universities, for example, हमने अभी start करा, we have started doing these South Asian fairs, where we mostly invite companies, specifically South Asian students के लिए, if you want to go back to your home country, if that is your plan. Then you don't have to kind of worry about job, because these companies already are they're very active in South Asia. They have openings. You come and network out with them, and you can apply for the openings that are there in South Asia. So this is just one example that I'm giving you. So we're trying to kind of open territories, not limit them geographically. But हाँ, बहुत सारे students आते हैं who come with the aim to at least work in the UK for 2 years or more, which is definitely, and which is fair.
Yeah, which is fair.
Which is fair.
They are going there to not only to study but also to understand. Even many of people, even they want to go back, join their family businesses. It's very important to understand how different West culture and different culture act and work. It's not about just degrees. It's not about just classroom experience. It's also about people we're staying with.
Absolutely.
Things we have been doing, because that's where the holistic international education is very important.
Absolutely. And you bring in innovation actually, in whatever you're doing, because you've learned something which is best practices, which is being followed there. So I've seen my neighbor has studied in the UK, and how innovative he's in his own business. That is clearly visible. Like, he may not have worked there.
You are ahead of the curve. In
Absolutely.
fact, one of the reasons, if you want to go abroad, just don't go abroad for immigration. That's a different, nothing
route.
wrong.
That's a different route. Take that route.
Nothing wrong in that, but you are going for, you are spending those $100,000, $200,000 or pounds. Even if you can afford it, they are financially available. Firstly, so don't limit yourself. As a student, if someone will ask me, if you go back 15 years back, when I was undergrad, and where I would like to change my mindset. कि हम तो बाहर पढ़ ही नहीं सकते, हम तो IIMs में जा ही नहीं सकते, वो तो अलग लोग होते हैं. नहीं यार, हम जैसे लोग होते हैं, but वो mindset change करना. And you don't need to be very studious or brilliant about it. Even if you're average, consistent, hardworking or sincere person, you can read in IIMs, you can read in University of York, you can make a killing for yourself. Just change that mindset. And if you can get as much exposure, if you can, as Mahima is saying, and probably to a level I can say, okay, I'm one of the example that network is network. But network is not about just going and collecting cards. It's about investing into relationship with a genuine intent to create value. And I always say, first give, then ask.
A lot of things will follow as a byproduct. So you need to have that clarity of thought, which I feel is lacking right now. कि क्यों करना क्यों है, ये पढ़ना क्यों है, या ये करना क्यों है, इसका
question. People not questioning.
वो नहीं क्वेश्चन नहीं करते हैं अपने आप को कि मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ, मैं क्यों जाके बाहर पढ़ रहा हूँ, मेरा सिर्फ रीजन बाहर जाके जॉब करना है. Then there are other routes that you should be taking. But if it's actually you want to add skill set, majority of the students I know who went with that intention have got a job.
And not a job, they're doing really well.
Very well for themselves.
Why are you representing York? Why are you an ICR? Why are you doing what you are doing? Let's finish with your why.
Like I mentioned in the beginning, I enjoy what I'm doing. I didn't really plan to be where I am. Why York? Because it is very student-centric, which I mentioned. They're very
good place to work.
Very good place to work, very good people to work, and they genuinely are interested in students. I don't think we've ever had those discussions why student-centric, because this is how the culture has been like that.
This should be like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So why you are ICR or doing what you are doing?
Because I'm good at it.
You're good at I like it.
Because I enjoy recruitment, student recruitment, partnership, establishing a brand.
So you're doing your
in India.
numbers last whatever years you've been this, you're doing your numbers?
Of course, we did had our own, last year
COVID
was,
COVID,
year. And then last year, of course, the UK, because the policy changes, it impacted your overall, numbers. But I think whatever numbers where we're contributing towards the international space, it's a decent number. And university has been very contented with the quality, I would say.
Any question you have for me?
Yeah. What is that ring that you're wearing?
Okay. It's a ultra human.
Okay.
It's like we have lots of whoop. Whoop is going that band. So it shows my sleep because I don't sleep. So I want to. Yeah, that's the only question. Okay. So if the education sector had its own tech talk stage, what would your first talk be about?
Employability, very clearly right now, because that's the burning question that we have from all students. So employability is going to be a very, very important factor that we'll be talking about. Student support, again, very important.
If you could swap lives with any fictional or real life character for the day, what would it be and why?
Oh my God, that is very, very interesting.
Rapid fire.
Adrian, why not? Adrian, so he's the CEO of
Are
Acumen.
you appraisers nearby?
No, it's already been done. But I would like to swap, and I like to think how he thinks. Like, what made him build, Acumen. I think Acumen, in my understanding, Acumen was the first one to start with.
Yeah.
So that idea itself, what made you think out of the box? How did you kind of start with it?
The way he thinks, I believe, one of the really innovative guys.
So that's why I want to take the thinking process. That's why him.
If you could only give one piece of advice to a student with no financial means but a dream to study abroad, what would it be?
If you are a really good student and financial constraint is there, there are a lot of ways you can still get scholarships. Yes, universities have their own scholarship. We do offer need-based scholarships. There are external scholarships like Chevening, Commonwealth, INLUX that you can apply for. There are a lot of companies also who sponsor nowadays, like Tata have their own scholarships. So you need to explore all your different options. Just in case, even if that doesn't make it, then you can explore options within the country. Like, there are universities who do offer some really good education within the country.
You can take credit transfer
Exactly.
also.
So from that university, you can take credit transfer, you can go for exchange.
There are financial access. It's just that you need to do your research and just don't limit yourself.
Yeah.
What's a moment in your career when you felt, this is why I do what I do?
Quite a few, I would say, especially when I get a call from a student saying that, thank you, I've got a job. And I had those calls even during COVID, to my surprise.
Last point. If you could wake up tomorrow and be fluent in any language, which one would you choose?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I didn't think of it. Probably Chinese.
You're thinking business, man. Yes, business. I'm very, very good. Thank you so much for your time and be so candid and be so real.
Say thank you so much. It has been pleasure to be here and have this, chat, like a very candid chat here.
On that note, thank you. Thank you to all our sponsors, to our teams, VITA Living. It's not easy, but it's fun. So thank you so much.